from Manhattan, Kansas. It's New Year's Day basketball in the Big 12 as the 6th-ranked West Virginia Mountaineers visit the Kansas State Wildcats. Along with Brendan Manzer, I'm Mark Neely. Game 1 of the conference season over the weekend. 4 of 5 road teams were victorious, including West Virginia and K-State on the road. West Virginia winning at Oklahoma State on Friday, where head coach Bob Huggins picked up win number 831. He's now 7th all-time. It's his 11th season as the Mountaineers head coach. And Brendan, it's season 4 for Press Virginia.
Yeah, the decision by Bob Huggins to go to Press Virginia during Daxter Miles and Javon Carter's freshman year obviously is a reason he's won so many games. Look at that amazing stat with their pressure. More turnovers forced than field goals made on the season by their opponent.
K-State won at Hilton Coliseum for the first time since 2011 on Friday, and their big three, Stokes, Brown, and Wade, combined for 78 points.
Well, these three have started 206 games for Bruce Weber in their careers. Just juniors. That experience helped them have an impressive win on the road at Iowa State on Friday, and obviously to be the number 6 ranked team in the country like West Virginia, those three would need to lead the way today.
Career high 34 points for Dean Wade in that game. We'll keep a close eye on him and how he springboards perhaps off a career best in scoring. K-State wearing the road gray with the purple trim. West Virginia wearing their road blue with the old gold trim. These are the first 2 teams to play conference game number 2 in the conference. And we are ready to go from Manhattan.
And Mark, all of these games are big, obviously, but an opportunity for one of these two to get off to that 2-0 start.
Wade and Kanate with the opening tap. And it's Kansas State that has the game's first possession.
You see veteran Cam Stokes, the junior, who's really been playing well coming into this game at point guard. And you have to come out ready to go against West Virginia because there's no settling into the game with them. They try to hit you in the mouth straight from the start.
Same starting 5 all 14 games now for K-State. And Xavier Sneed with a 3 from the right corner to get things going for the Cats.
Well, we talked about those 3, Stokes, Brown, and Wade. And the 4th guy that can really make an impact today is Xavier Sneed. A big-time shot coming out of the gate for him.
Kanate up high. Pass down low, and Carter lays it in. Javon Carter coming off arguably, statistically, one of his worst games of his career when he turned the ball over a career-high 8 times at Oklahoma State. Stokes thought he was fouled. He misses off the left side.
You know, he did not play well. In fact, apologized to his teammates after the game, but also expressed that he's just happy they won. But the point should be made, when the game was on the line down the stretch in Stillwater, he was the one making the plays.
Steal, Stokes taking it to the rim, and he is fouled as he crashes to the floor.
Let's go back to that opening offensive possession for West Virginia. Look at the movement of Carter, and as you see Brown trailing on the hip. Good sharp cut down the lane. You saw the spacing, and Kanate able to hit Javon Carter in rhythm for the lay-in.
That game at Oklahoma State, he was 2 of 10 from the field. Did finish with 12 points, as he was a perfect 6 of 6 from the line. But as you mentioned, hit some big shots and really helped foul out Mitchell Solomon of Oklahoma State late in that game.
Yeah, a sequence where he hit the big 3, and it was a tight 2-possession game at that point. Put West Virginia up 7, gave them a little breathing room. And then a couple possessions later in transition, takes it right at Mitchell Solomon, understanding the importance he is for Oklahoma State, drawing that 5th foul, and he sat the last 3 minutes of the game because of it.
Stokes' free throws has given K-State a 3-point lead.
One of the things West Virginia did a really nice job of in the second half is they started working inside out, getting all their shots beginning from the paint area.
Wade defending Carter, 4 to shoot a deep 3 from Miles off the back rim, but a long rebound to West. He got an elbow up and is going to be called for the offensive foul as the elbow hits Sneed in the cheek. And Coach Huggins not happy with that call. from Jerry Pollard wants an explanation.
And I think what Bob Huggins is talking about here is the cylinder, which goes from the floor to the ceiling. The offensive player
he has a valid point there.
Has that to use, and so does the defensive player. And so when you enter one another's cylinder, that's when calls can be made.
So Jerry Pollard has gone to the screen, and I don't think there's any question that Snead got into that cylinder of West. Yeah, he just stood up vertically.
Yeah, I totally agree, Mark. As officials continue to look at that, Snead right up into his area. You can see right here. Certainly nothing malicious about the play either.
So the officials reviewing at the table. You see there on the left, the officiating crew is Mike Roberts, Ray Natilli in the middle, and on the right there, Jerry Pollard, the lead official. And I think what we've seen on video, there should be enough there to show that this should not be an offensive foul on Lamont West.
And not surprising, Marcus, that we're less than 2 minutes in the game. You already have physical play when you have Big 12 teams involved, in particular West Virginia.
They are going to take the foul away from Lamont West. So, and West Virginia will just inbounds the ball on the sideline. So Bob Huggins is right in front of us, and he just said to Jerry Pollard, so tell me, Jerry, tell me that I'm right at least one time. And he was right this time.
Jerry did hesitate slightly before telling Coach Huggins that he was right. That was a great exchange right there.
So no foul on West. It stays West Virginia ball. Not quite 2 minutes into the game. The crowd responding to the overturned foul call. Miles looking for Konate. Out front, Carter fakes the three with Barry Brown on him. We're going to get a foul away from the ball. A hold on Snead. First team foul against the Wildcats.
West Virginia here, these first couple of possessions, have really been making sharp cuts. And Snead gets caught hanging on to West right there.
Carter sealed off. Miles puts it up with 8 on the shot clock. Rebound on the floors. Konate can't come up with it, but Dean Wade does for Kansas State. Brown, long pass, threads it. Oween, blocked by Konate.
Oween right there, just uncomfortable on the catch. Just had to turn and go score.
And how about the defense from Dean Wade there?
When the victory at Iowa State on Friday, K-State was outstanding in the half court in the second half.
Wade underneath, crashing with Konate off the rim. Wade got his own miss, and then a whistle stops playing a foul on West Virginia. It's going against Konate. First one on Konate.
West Virginia substitution, number 14, Travis Parker.
Here's Bruce Weber, the head coach of Kansas State in his 6th season. That was his first win as head coach of K-State at Hilton Coliseum on Friday. That was a huge opening win in conference play for K-State.
You know, and interesting, it was K-State's first win since 2011. Jacob Pullen years. And that tells you how long it has been.
Since they won up in Ames. Carter. This is Wesley Harris.
Outside that opening bucket from West Virginia, the Carter lay-in, K-State has been really good on the defensive end.
And Konate with the jump hook to make it a 1-point game.
You know, with no Devin Williams and no Elijah Macon, no Issa Ahmad at this time for West Virginia. Not really the traditional guy to throw it inside, but you saw the second half against Oklahoma State. The emphasis to get it into Konate. They were working the high post and low post And right there, Konate able to get that deep position and go to over his left shoulder. Watch right here. And you're isolated. And you just got to show that you're willing to throw it in there every once in a while to keep K-State honest defensively. And Konate, you can see his progression as a sophomore in the offensive end.
Dean Wade got off a career high 34 points. Loose ball, tied up, and actually grabbed by Harris in a timeout called by West Virginia. So we'll step aside. 16-11 to go first half. Early 1-point lead for K-State.
ESPN's exclusive
1-point lead for Kansas State here early in the first half from Bramlage Coliseum in Manhattan. As we say Happy New Year from Brendan Manser, former Oklahoma State guard. I'm Mark Neely. Dean Wade coming off a career high 34 points at Iowa State a couple of nights ago. He must be a focus here for West Virginia today.
Well, Bob Huggins said as much to you and I earlier today. As good as Stokes and Brown are in the backcourt, it's really Dean Wade that can take Kansas State to another level. And as we talked to Bob Huggins about Wade and the respect that he has for him, he said that, hey, the only way I know how to slow down a guy is to keep him from catching and really pressure. And you saw on the last possession prior to West Virginia calling timeout, West way out on the perimeter pressuring Wade. They're going to try to make him work for everything he gets here today.
Maciej Bender banks one in from the right side. And the native of Warsaw, Poland, gives West Virginia a 1-point lead.
And Bob Huggins really likes that young man. Skilled, he's got good feet. Saw the nice touch right there. And he's a guy that just needs minutes at this level to continue to get better.
Chase Harler picks up the foul as he was chasing Barry Brown. That's team foul number 4 against West Virginia.
Substitution with number 4.
In a very hard-fought game in Stillwater Friday. I think that's why you're seeing Bob Huggins even go quicker to the bench and deeper in this game. You're on the road. They did not go home. Sometimes that can be taxing on your legs. And you don't get to sleep in your own bed for a handful of days.
West Virginia was in some trouble in Stillwater. That shot may have been affected by Bender, but it's saved by Xavier Sneed for K-State. A 3 from the left side is too long for Barry Brown. West Virginia was down 9 in Stillwater midway through the second half, and then they were up 9 with 3 minutes to play. Quite a turnaround.
You know, interestingly enough, they backed off their full court pressure because when Oklahoma State wasn't turning over, they were getting good looks. And again, a great coaching move by Bob Huggins to not just sell out that they have to pressure at all times full court, because they are very good half-court defensive team and they can grind out games as well.
Goes off the hands of Stockard. Here's the lob for Bender, but Brown able to deflect that. Loose ball tied up. Stockard. And the possession arrow can keep it with West Virginia.
A great job of Brown hustling back in transition there, not allowing the break. And we talk so much about West Virginia defensively. You go back to the Iowa State game, that second half. Obviously, the big 3 for K-State played very well, but defensively, the second half in Hilton, they were outstanding. 23% field goal percentage defense, and then held Iowa State to 25 points for the entire half. And as Big 12 people know, that is very difficult to do in Ames.
Bender will hand it off to West. West putting it in off the glass.
Boy, how good is he going to continue to get? The sophomore in West. And you like that if you're Bob Huggins, because a lot of times he'll settle for that 3. But it's obvious to me here in the first 6 minutes, Mark, Bob Huggins wants to drive it and get it to the paint.
And there's the first bucket of the game for Dean Wade. And they had one opportunity.
Well, Dean Wade, this is a young man that's had a lot of ability. And you see him, the movement, the ball screen, and then the slip right there. And what you love about it, that 6'10" frame absorbs a little contact from Bender, and then the ability to still get it up there softly with that offhand.
And he completes the three-point play. First 3 points for Dean Wade, and it ties it at 8. 6 minutes in here in Manhattan.
Zone look right here from the Wildcats.
Jumpers too strong from Teddy Allen on the baseline. A loose ball grab off the floor by Stockard. Brown directing traffic, sends Wainwright to the near side. Wade knocked down the defender, and then a shot taken right out of the air by Bender, but then Wade takes it back, and he gets fouled going up. Good battle down low between Bender and Wade.
And for a couple of seasons, Bruce Weber has really charged Dean Wade to become more aggressive, more assertive, force his will. And maybe we're seeing right now, Mark, in his junior year, a guy that's playing more aggressively, more confidently. And how could you not be confident after a 34-point performance on the road? And you love the second and third effort that you saw right there.
Dean Wade was 13 of 16 from the field in that game at Hilton Coliseum. Missed his first 2 3-point shots, Brendan, but then went on and hit his next 6 in a row. Hit 6 of 8 in that game.
And I think in the past, previous seasons at least, after missing a couple, Dean is his worst critic. Get it down on himself, and good to see because he's talented, good young man, and one of the better players in the league. They just need him to be more consistently productive.
Carter finds Harris. They double him. Aggressive zone defense. Miles. Allen from 14 feet out rolls it in. Teddy Allen is a freshman out of Mesa, Arizona. Went to Boys Town High School in Nebraska. All the way down the floor comes Brown, but Carter was on his hip. It's out of bounds, last touch by West Virginia.
And you mentioned Teddy Allen, Mark. Love this young man. Never seen an opportunity to score that he did not like. And Bob Huggins, by design, gets him at the high post because he's a driver and he's aggressive. He's always getting things going towards the rim. And against Oklahoma State on Friday, 13 of his 15 the second half. And those 15 points, Mark, were in just 16 minutes of game time.
7-11 from the field in that game. Bouncing around, picked up by Kanate, and here comes West Virginia. Long outlet pass. Here comes the aforementioned Allen. Flips it up. Wow! Off the glass. It scores. The degree of difficulty of that shot more difficult than it looked.
I don't think there's anybody in the building that knew once he caught that where he was going with it. Really a nose for getting to the basket.
Largest lead of the game for West Virginia of 3, and a long outlet pass, and Kanate lays it in after that long dish from Daxter Miles. Timeout, Kansas State. A chorus of boos raining down.
With an advance pass up the floor from Carter to Teddy Allen. Allen gives him a boost off the bench. West Virginia up 5.
Hey, it's a Star Wars day here in Manhattan, Kansas. K-State fans hoping the force is with them, but they've only hit 2 of their first 11 shots, and West Virginia leads by 5. Hey, one of our stars in the network, Fran Fraschilla, is here. We need to get that guy a microphone. Hey, Fran. Fran is...
Hey, I got a microphone.
I saw you a couple days ago in Fort Worth. You saw Trae Young in Oklahoma escape by 1 point over TCU. You got Texas Tech and Kansas tomorrow. We're glad to have you here.
You know what? The Buffalo Wild Wings in the media room were delicious. Free meal anytime I can get one. And to be here at this game, doing a little Big 12 homework, guys, is fun.
Here's Snead taking it towards the rim. Kanate picks up the block. And here comes West Virginia. Mountaineers have hit 7 of their first 12 shots. This is some beginning to conference season. As Fran, we saw 4 of the 5 road teams win in game 1 of the season.
Not easy to do. Every road win in this league this year will be gold. And certainly West Virginia trying to get a second road win, which would be, it would give them a great leg up, I think, early in the season.
Kanate with an early 6 points for West Virginia. They've opened up a 7-point lead.
Fran, I don't think there's ever been a year, I don't know about you, that I've had more people ask me who the 10th place team would be versus who's going to win the league.
Oh, you know what, Brendan, you're so right. You and I have been watching this league for a long time. I tell people, I don't know if this league has a Final Four team yet, but I know this, from 1 to 10, you got 40 of the best teams in the country, it seems like, anyway, in one league, which is, you know, absolutely amazing. And remember, guys, we know this better than anybody, it's double round robin, so everybody's going to see each other home and away.
Well, Dexter Miles' shot makes it a 10-point lead for West Virginia. Here comes Sneed going for the jam, but Kanate there to cut him off. It's an 11-0 run for West Virginia. James Beetle Bolden in there, one of the guard slots now for the Mountaineers.
So much for freedom of movement, guys.
Yeah, West knocks down Stokes, and it's West going to pick up the personal.
Hey, Fran, what do you like about this West Virginia basketball team?
Well, I think people expected them to be better right out of the gate after they lost to A&M. People kind of forgot about them, Brendan, but as you know, this is a very young team. We all talk about the 2 guards in the backcourt, and then Issa Ahmad will be back soon, but 7 sophomores and a freshman. So we're watching guys grow up, guys like Teddy Allen and Kanate, Beetle Bolden. Bob Huggins' team's future is very, very bright, even after these 2 senior guards leave.
Yeah, they lost 5 seniors from a year ago, including Nathan Adrian, Brandon Watkins, Taylon Myers, Tariq Phillip. There's defense played by Beetle Bolden. You know, that's been the area of question with Bolden. He's a guy who can really shoot the basketball. He's improved defensively, especially when he faces Javon Carter in practice.
Well, I think Coach Huggins does a great job of getting specialists, a guy like Bolden who can shoot it, to be more than just that. Do other things, particularly on the defensive end, to help his ball club. And Fran, you've shared your thoughts about West Virginia. How about Bruce Weber's team? Big win Friday in Ames?
Yeah, we're watching them grow up. They're struggling right now. I'm sure they've got a few runs in them, but the backcourt has been very, very good. They're starting to mature. You and I know how good Dean Wade could be. I think Dean Wade, the key for the season, you guys said it early, I don't think he realizes how good he is. And I think it's time for him early in his junior year to start to take over games, like you saw the other night up in Stillwater.
Well, Dean Wade, after the career-high 34 points in the last game for K-State. So far in this game, a relatively quiet 1 for 3 from the field with 4 points. Here's Wade. Cartier Jara backs it back out with 8 to shoot for the Wildcats. Jara down the right side of the lane, then a crowd just flips it up in the air. That's grabbed by Stockard with the left hand as the shot clock expired. And there's Dean Wade. 3rd opportunity.
And that's what you have to do against West Virginia. You cannot allow them to force their will of attacking the glass and all the pressure. And so you love what Dean Wade did right there, as they kept the possession alive after pretty good half-court D from West Virginia. You also, yourselves, against them, have to find ways to score 50-50 balls, offensive glass, turnovers.
Teddy Allen traveled.
You know, to your point, Brendan, I think if I were Bruce Weber, I would go inside to Wade. This game has gotten very physical early, and this is a very veteran crew. They're going to start to blow the whistle and clean it up. In the meantime, if I were Wade, I would try to establish some low post presence, because I think he'll get himself to the foul line.
Yeah, totally agree, because West Virginia would love for Kansas State to become a jump shooting team. And essentially the second half against Oklahoma State, when they backed off the full court pressure, that's what they made the Cowboys. And then that's when they made their run and were able to stretch out the basketball game. I totally agree.
Turnover is always a big spot at a West Virginia game. K-State's turned it over 5 times. West Virginia 4, but there's a nice drive and lay-in.
And also to Fran's point, it's not just touches inside to someone like Dean Way to get to the heart of the defense. You've got to look to drive, and Barry Brown is one of the better straight-line drivers in the Big 12 Conference.
Carter trying to dish it off for Kanate, but it's stolen by Sneed. Stokes lines up a 3. It's well short. Bolden flips to Carter. Backs it up to Bolden. A deep 3 from Beadle. Tip to Wade, handed off. Here comes Stokes. He has Sneed up ahead. Fires to Sneed, and his 3 is on the way. Both teams have gone cold offensively. Then Carter has it knocked away from behind by Sneed.
Fran, I have to ask you, question you're probably getting every arena you go to. You just saw him. Yeah, you just saw him the other day. Thoughts on Trae Young at Oklahoma?
Transcendent. You know, you watch a league like the Big 12 with all the great players that we've seen, and the young man's transcendent. He's as good a guard that's come into this league in a very long time. I'm so anxious to see how he handles the gauntlet that's ahead of him the next 2 months. And I'll be in Morgantown Saturday night, where he'll go up against maybe the best on-ball defender in the country in Javon Carter, but the young man's brilliant. He's a top 5 pick in my opinion. He can't do it all by himself, but he's breathtaking, isn't he, when you see him in person?
He is. You see him live and in person. I mean, you appreciate him on television, but his ability to see things and make things develop before they even ever occur is outstanding.
Fran, we'll let you watch some basketball. Check back in with you later. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
7:40 to play in this first half. 21-13 Mountaineers. Seven-point lead for West Virginia with 7:40 to play in the first half from Manhattan, Kansas. Well, it's the first Super Tuesday of the college basketball season on ESPN, as we'll have now number 18 Texas Tech taking on 10th ranked Kansas at Allen Fieldhouse. You can see the game live on the ESPN app as well. Jayhawks have never lost to the Red Raiders at Allen Fieldhouse. They're 18-0 there since the Big 12's inception back in '97. Fran Fraschilla will have the call on that one tomorrow, Lawrence. Well, in this game, Brendan, it's really been the dominance in the paint of West Virginia.
Well, the emphasis to work inside out. You get the low post area with Kanate. You get the high post face up and score from Teddy Allen. And then Bender getting in on the action. Isolated there. Nice little feel move where he's able to go back over his left shoulder. So the emphasis in the half court to get points in the paint. And then obviously, when West Virginia turns you over, that leads to layups. They have 16 of 20 points in that paint area.
Brendan away from the ball, foul on West Virginia. I think they're giving that to Harler.
You know, when you play West Virginia, you have to weather the storms, plural. You know, you're going to have multiple situations, stretches in the game where you play bad, they make you look bad, you get out of control. You have to gather yourself as a team and get back to what you do well.
Sneed, a 3 from Brown, around and out, and a Kanate rebound for West Virginia.
Good ball movement by K-State, but Bob Huggins will live with a penetrate and kick to Barry Brown. They're more concerned about him taking you off the bounce, as he's just a 27% three-point shooter.
Well, K-State right now just 4 of 21 from the field to begin this game. They're probably fortunate, Brendan, they're only down 7, as West Virginia's hit 10 of 17 from the floor. Kanate, it's tipped back out. That ball bouncing around as the shot clock was about to expire, and does so, and gives it to K-State.
Boy, great half-court defensive stand right there from Kansas State. Solid in every phase, and terrific help in shading Carter off the drive right there.
West Virginia has turned it over 7 times. K-State 5 turnovers. Again, the issue for K-State right now, struggling from the floor. Stokes 0 for 4 from the field. Brown 1 of 5. Snead 1 of 4. Wade leading the way with 6 points. Here's Brown trying to get on target and hits the 18-footer.
But what helped create that shot was a strong drive. And even though Carter was able to keep him from turning the corner, his momentum defensively by Brown put him on his heels. And so that creates space for a better shot than the three-pointer from Brown.
Kanate
Here's what I'm talking
tied up.
Yeah, sorry, Mark. Here's what we're talking about. Watch Brown comes off. He tries to turn the corner, and Carter so terrific on the ball. Able to get in front, but you see Carter's momentum moving towards a basket, and then Brown pulls up on a dime and able to shoot a closer shot, but also a shot in rhythm.
A 3 from Bolden. Got it. James Beadle Bolden really has been their best three-point shooter this year.
And he is instant offense off the bench. Double figures each of the last 5 games and 9 of their 13 overall. And he is, without question, West Virginia's most dangerous three-point shooter.
3 left side, bounces off for Snead. He hit one to begin the game, but has not found the hoop since. Now 1 for 5 from the floor. Faces up on Stockard. Looking for some help. Will use the dribble. Hand off to Carter. A little slap. And that's going to go against Kanate. He was moving.
Once again, a solid defensive possession for the Wildcats. They've done a really nice job working inside out, not getting overextended. And they're going to have to continue to get stops, Mark, because they are struggling to score, obviously. Things are not coming as easy as they did in Ames as far as open looks here so far. And they've got to rely on that defense to buy them time till they can get some things going on the offensive end.
Kanate on the bench with his second foul. Binder has 2. Miles has 2, all for West Virginia. Stockard trying to adjust, but cannot connect over Binder. Here comes Carter flying over to save it for the Mountaineers. Javon Carter in the crowd, out. Another 3 from Bolden. That one's too long. And then a foul on the floor is going to go against K-State. That's on Levi Stockard. True freshman for Kansas State. His second. He's going to depart. And McCall Maween is checked in.
You know, back to Fran's point earlier about getting Wade in the interior more often. K-State doesn't have, you know, a Thomas Gibson or even a DJ Johnson. Guys that you can throw it into on the block and keep defenses honest.
Brown tried to split 2 defenders, Bender and Carter. He gets stripped, and then Wade nearly stripped Carter, who just flips it to Bender, and then it's laid in by Bolden. That ball was pinballing around, and West Virginia converts, and they're up 10.
Carter just having trouble getting a hold of the ball. Made a nice play to keep it alive.
3 left side, not there for Stokes. A Bender rebound. West Virginia continuing to dominate in the paint here, Brendan. The stat that really blew me away coming into this game is that West Virginia had attempted more threes than any other team in the Big 12.
Yeah, not something that you would typically see. They're definitely more guard-oriented than they've had. You look at Harris and West at that 4 position, they're more stretch 4 type players.
It's a tough shot from Carter that's short. Comes cross court, Brian Patrick. Now Brown in the corner. K-State just 5 of 25 from the field. Stokes out for Patrick. He launches a 3. His 8th made 3 of the season. And he pulls K-State within 7.
A nice job of Stokes right there, Mark. When you drive it against physical perimeter defense like West Virginia, you have to go hard and force the help situation. Stokes did that. Freed up Patrick for a wide open 3-pointer.
Wesley Harris, his 3 is off the mark. And then a West Virginia foul underneath. Under 3 minutes to go in this first half. It's 6th-ranked West Virginia up by 7.
Back in Manhattan, Kansas, where K-State down 7, but a good offensive possession prior to the timeout. What you have to do against West Virginia, when you see an opening, the pressure, you got to attack. Look at Stokes right there. Hits the seam. And West Virginia, a help-oriented team. You know they're going to rotate over. And that's your classic penetrate and pitch, drive and kick. You see Patrick knock down the wide-open shot. Mark, that's a rare wide-open look that K-State has had. But you have to have good ball movement, and then when you drive, you've got to drive it with strength and force those help situations, because if you pass it around the perimeter with not much zest, it's hard to get shots against Bob Huggins' teams.
Kalma Ween shooting 2 after the 10-team foul against West Virginia. That foul before he went to break on the Mountaineers was the 3rd of the half on Machi Bender. And it's put K-State in the double bonus. 1 and 2 for Maween. Loose ball as Allen and Carter kind of fought for it for West Virginia, and it winds up with K-State.
And you got Bolden on Dean Wade right here in the broken floor situation.
He threads a pass left side. 3 missed by Patrick, who hit earlier, but it rebounds to Wade. They trap him in the corner. His pass deflected and stolen by Allen.
Well, really a missed opportunity right there, Mark. You had Wade at 6'10", who can see over the top of that trap. He's just got to be strong, explode out of the trap with strength, and then you have numbers on the back end.
Wade tipping there, fighting. But was on the sideline, so it's still with West Virginia, but great defensive effort from Dean Wade. Harler feeling the effects of that scrap there with Wade going for the loose ball. Well, the first game of conference, Brendan, really all 5 games were kind of track meets, high scoring. We're not getting that in this one. More kind of what we thought between these 2 type of teams. And now it's going to K-State.
Yeah, tough, defensive-minded coaches, which in turn makes defensive-minded ball clubs. You remember, you go back to the Big 12 championship in Kansas City last year. These 2 teams played. That was a grinder.
51-50 was the final of that one, won by West Virginia.
So you're right. And that's, at least at this point, that's what we're headed towards.
Brown from the left corner. And K-State, despite shooting just 25% from the field in this half, only down 3. Wade whistled for the foul. Nope, actually they're going to give it to Patrick. Quickly in, Bolden. Tip is good for Lamont West.
Well, you've got to put bodies on West Virginia. And West, terrific effort right there.
Harler picks up the foul. That's his second.
You notice how quick Brown, I mean, once he saw that, you talk about drivers, there's guys that get you on your heels and cross you up and try to turn the corner that way, and then there are straight line drivers. You know, the gap is there, boom, they're gone. Barry Brown is a straight line driver.
And he is a guy now taking more ownership in this program. When you lose players the caliber of Wes Iwundu and DJ Johnson, younger players have to step up, and he's been one of those guys.
Well, he and Cam Stokes together have been in a lot of wars in this league and been good players. And those 2 here over the last few minutes with some good defensive stops in the half court has allowed K-State, who has not played well at all, to be within 4.
Allen shooting over Wade and was able to score that as Patrick also came over with the help defense. And a bucket for Teddy Allen.
Well, know, Teddy Allen does not play like a freshman.
You were saying he gets the steal, racing towards the rim, and one for the freshman Teddy Allen, who's flexing his biceps here in Manhattan on this New Year's Day.
We mentioned Friday in Stillwater, 15 points in 16 minutes, and there's the drive. He's great at catching the high post, facing up and attacking you. And then Bob Huggins will like this even more because it's defense transitioning to offense. And a little flex from Allen. He is electric offensively and
Coach
not
Huggins,
scared.
he was telling us before the game, Brendan, he said, hey, yeah, Teddy Allen is not short in the confidence area. He is a very confident player on the floor, especially for a guy who's a freshman. He was the Nebraska Gatorade High School Player of the Year and finished a three-point play, so it's an 8-point game. K-State had cut it to 3. It's back up to an 8-point edge for the Mountaineers. Final 30 seconds of this first half. Jara, a 3. Just his 9th made 3 of the season in a big spot in a 5-point game. West Virginia can hold it for the final shot. Carter on the drive. And time runs out in the first half. Well, Kansas State shoots 28%, but Brendan, they're only down 5 at the half.
Well, they got a series of stops as we closed out the half, and then you get Brown and Stokes with a couple big shots. Jara, that was huge there, because if West Virginia gets a stop and go the other end, the game feels different going to halftime. Big basket by Kansas State.
So we're at the half. The score, 31-26 West Virginia. After these messages, we'll check in with the studio. And first half analysis from the Coliseum here in Manhattan. This is the first college basketball game on the ESPN networks for the new calendar year, 2018. We're glad you could share it with us on a day that certainly is heavily slanted towards the college football world, but we're glad you could share some time with us. Head coach Bob Huggins, his team up 5 as we start half number 2. This team shot pretty well from the floor, 52%. K-State shot just 28%. You see the turnovers, 9-8 West Virginia. But look at the rebounding edge.
Well, it's what allowed K-State to hang in there with 5. Those stats look unbalanced, obviously, is the ability to get the free throw line. You know, it's rare that West Virginia would get there once. The fact that K-State has a 6 free throw make advantage has allowed them to hang around. And then, for the most part, once they've been able to establish their half-court defense, K-State's been very, very good.
You know, free throws were a big part of the game for West Virginia in Stillwater a couple of days ago, because West Virginia went 27 of 32 from the line. So they shot 84% as a team. They shoot 74% overall as a team. We'll see if they make it more to the line here in half number 2.
And most certainly they will, just because going more than once is more likely. But the other reason, strategically, is that Bob Huggins will now have to have his offense in front of him. And he's very good at communicating and tweaking things within possessions and within the game.
And Daxter Miles, the turnaround jumper, he connects. And right out of the chute, West Virginia able to score in the half court.
And obviously K-State is going to have to get going offensively, because you're not going to be able to hold off Miles and Carter for an entire 40 minutes.
Kanate lays it in, and the first 2 trips for West Virginia have resulted in points.
And the turnover caused by Javon Carter at the other end. And just quick, strong hands. Gets the strip and an easy basket at the other end for West Virginia.
Stokes trying to create. Stokes 0 for 5 in that first half, missing 3 three-point attempts. And Coach Huggins is saying they assigned the foul to the wrong player, that it should have been on Wesley Harris. But Well, that's fallen on deaf ears. K-State looking for their first points of half number 2. Brown over Miles. Just as the shot clock was expiring, and Konate will hand it to Daxter Miles. Bob Huggins is still in the air. You see there Jerry Pollard at the lower left-hand side of your screen saying that they assigned the foul to the wrong West Virginia Mountaineer that last sequence. An open look, Konate driving, and an offensive foul. Brown was there to take the charge.
Yeah, and Bob Huggins looks at Konate and just says, why? That's not what you want from Konate. And like I said earlier, I think with Coach Huggins, you'll see this half. Continued assertiveness to get those touches inside, get Konate back on the block, get those high post touches, and really put pressure on K-State's D.
And 3 fouls on Konate. So, Brendan, he goes to the bench, bringing Bender back, who's playing with 3 fouls.
Well, the good thing about West Virginia teams, although this team is not quite as deep as others have been, and they will be deeper when Issa Ahmad returns, but they have enough depth where Coach Huggins can manage and buy time for his roster.
No question that West Virginia foul was on Wesley Harris, so he picks up his second. As you mentioned, Issa Ahmad not here. He can practice with the team. They anticipate he'll be back for the Texas Tech game in Morgantown in a little over a week. Stokes floats it up. Still can't buy a bucket, but there for the tip-in is the freshman Levi Stockard. First points of the half for K-State.
Although K-State hit 4 threes the first half, I think they too settled for that a little bit too much. So good to see a guy like Stokes get to the heart of the defense.
3 from Carter. In and out. Long rebound in the corner is gathered by Levi Stockard. Look to trap Brown. He gets it into the front court. 3 up from Sneed. His second made 3 of the game. He hit a 3 to open the scoring today. Carter trying to answer for the Mountaineers. Sneed rebounds. Here comes Brown. K-State just down 4. Brown stripped. Taken away. That was Miles who created the steal, and it hopped right into the hands of Wes Harris.
When Daxter Miles has some of the quickest hands that you'll see. I mean, he gets in on balls and he gets his hand out quickly. And it's difficult for officials to tell whether he is fouled or not. There's a great defensive play.
Carter able to give it up to Harris. And the and 1 for the Mountaineers, who up the lead back to 6. Third foul on K-State's Levi Stockard.
And you saw Javon Carter right there, and you see him behind Harris shaking his head. You know, struggled in Stillwater, 2 for 10 from the field. Struggled a little bit, although he hasn't had a lot of looks here so far today.
4 assists for Carter, 2 turnovers. I mentioned the turnovers because before the game in Stillwater the other night, the most times he turned the ball over in a game was 5, and he turned it over 8 times in Stillwater. Yeah,
not his typical game, but that tells you how good West Virginia is to overcome that.
And that's what K-State fans want to see more of from Dean Wade. Right there, what we just saw, Brendan.
Well, he's really effective in the interior because he's skilled, and he does a good job of keeping you off balance.
Back cut and an impressive slam from Lamont West. Stokes. Miles thought he had a double dribble. Carter screened off by Stockard, a 3 up. It's been a tough shooting day for Stokes. Offensive putback, no for Stockard. And it's Bender finally clearing for the Mountaineers.
Tell you what, everything is being contested at the rim at a high level. Nothing is coming easy for either one of these teams.
That's a timeout. West Virginia's opened a 7-point lead. And Brendan, what a slam by Lamont West.
Watch this backdoor cut. See West bring the defender high up the floor, creating space. That's an easy one.
K-State sophomore Xavier Sneed, obviously his first name starts with an X, but Brendan, many K-State fans thinks that he's the X factor. When he can contribute, he can be a big deal for this team.
Hey, how about, watch this box out. He's in the upper right of your screen with the headband, number 20. Watch him box out Lamont West of West Virginia. You know, in your younger days when coaches tell you to block off your man and shove him underneath the basket, that's exactly what Xavier Sneed did. And maybe it was to create some room and space so that he could run the floor on the other end. And he's like, oh yeah. Good defense and offensive possessions from Sneed. That was Sneed's second tray of the day.
That ball kicked. West Virginia led by as many as 10 with about 4.5 minutes to play in the first half. K-State's only lead was very early of 3 points. So Sneed has hit a couple of threes, including a 3 to begin the scoring today for K-State. Six to shoot. Carter. West, a long 2. Good.
You see the length of West right there. Jara, that's pretty good defense to cut him off and make him shoot over the top. The only problem is Lamont West, 6'8", has about 6 inches over Jara.
Cartier Jara, the driving lane, the contact in the end, one opportunity.
Well, what a strong drive from Jara. And when you're getting pressure, look how physical Javon Carter is. He's got hands all over you, but he's out of position. And Jara drives with strength. And you got to match strength with strength. And that's the only way that you can survive against West Virginia. It's also the only way that you're going to get the officials to call a foul. Because if you don't go in strong, Mark, they're going to assume you're weak. And West Virginia would get the benefit of the doubt. That's a great drive along the baseline.
And a foul was on Harris. He's picked up 3. That's 3 players for West Virginia with 3. Harris, Bender, and Kanate. West tipping it to himself and keeping it alive for the Mountaineers. A Miles screen. Carter.
And all 5 K-Staters have got to get to the defensive glass.
West falling down. Walked with it. But West is 4 out of 5 from the field with 8 points. He has been productive on the offensive side today for West Virginia.
You know what I like about that is his shot selection, because he has typically been a guy that looks for that 3-point shot. But he's been getting his production inside the arc, showing that his game is expanding and he can do it other ways.
He has not attempted a 3-point shot today. Sneed has attempted several, and he makes his 3rd of the day.
Well, Mark, you rightly stated that he is the X factor. Xavier Sneed, a talented 4-star recruit as a sophomore, playing big here so far.
Timeout, Mountaineers. The crowd into it at Bramlage Coliseum on this New Year's Day in Manhattan. And it's down to a 3-point game. Well, we're privileged to bring you New Year's Day hoops. But New Year's Day known for football, and coming up from the Superdome in New Orleans, the second college football playoff semifinal, number 4 Alabama, number 1 Clemson squaring off for the 3rd straight year in the All-State Sugar Bowl, also available on ESPN Deportes and the ESPN app. Oklahoma has a 10-point lead about midway through the second quarter over Georgia, that first college football playoff semifinal. And there is Beetle Bolden doing what he does best off the bench, hitting a deep 3.
Well, he does such a great job of being ready to shoot the basketball as it's traveling to him. His feet, his footwork, terrific. And that's tough to do right out of the timeout. Pull up and knock down a contested 3, but Bolden can do it.
Sneed, a little heat check there, short with a 3. Long pass. Miles trying to get it back to Bolden, but threw it to Wade instead. That is a dozen turnovers for West Virginia. They look to trap Brown, and he's able to get the timeout right in front of his own bench. Quick 30-second timeout. We'll step aside here in Manhattan in a 6-point game. Nine points from Xavier Sneed of K-State. They trail it, though, by 6, and the shot selection for Sneed had been pretty good in this game, hitting 3 threes so far.
Well, he's talented, and he has been confident from the three-point line here today. And these are good looks for him. All 3 of his three-pointers you're going to see. And 9 points, and been that 4th guy complimenting those big 3 juniors for K-State. With Xavier Sneed, who's very talented, it's all about shot selection for him. And we talked to Bruce Weber about that this morning. Last possession, he came down and took a quick contested 3. That's not the type of shot you want him taking, but open ones like that, that's a different story.
K-State was down by as many as 10. They made it a 1-possession game. Carter. Miles launches the 3. Long rebound to Carter. Miles gets in the lane. The floater good. Rebounding, offensive rebounding, key in this game for the Mountaineers. Jara tied up with Carter. Possession arrow, have it stay with K-State.
I tell you what, Javon Carter has great hand-eye coordination, quick hands, yet strong. I mean, you cannot be careless around him. He is so terrific. Look at that. Great at not fouling. He forces that turnover, getting his hand on the ball on the drive. And that's why he averages almost 4 steals a game.
Bolden was there to take the charge. You know, after the game in Stillwater, Coach Huggins said, Javon Carter came into the locker room and said, hey guys, I played terrible, I'm sorry, but I'm happy we won. And Coach Huggins said, for a lot of players, that's just rhetoric, saying what they think is the right thing. He says, Javon Carter believes it. He's saying what he believes. He was happy they won, even though he had a bad game.
Yeah, he has always been about winning.
Bolden, that's a tough 3. Batted around to Wade. His outlet for Jara. On the offside, he's got Brown. Kicks it to Stokes. Back to Jara. Good ball movement, but K-State couldn't finish.
Boy, and those are the ones, those bunnies, Mark, so crucial when you're in the wars of the Big 12, particularly in the second half.
West got underneath the bucket, able to adjust and lay it in.
Yeah, and I almost could have called that either Miles or Carter were going to come down immediately and go make a play.
Bolden fouls Stokes with 11:04 to play. K-State got it within 3, but now it's a 7-point deficit. With 11 minutes of change left here in Manhattan, 7-point edge for 6th-ranked West Virginia. Well, our next NBA Wednesday doubleheader tips at 8 p.m. Eastern with LeBron and Kyrie, the former teammates, squaring off in the battle between the top teams in the Eastern Conference, the Cavs and the Celtics. And then at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific, Thunder and the Lakers. Our coverage tips with NBA Countdown at 7 on ESPN and the ESPN app. A couple of things sticking out in this game right now in Manhattan. Number 1, 3-point shooting for West Virginia. They've hit 2 of 11. K-State 7 of 17, so the 3-point shot, especially from Sneed, who's at 4, has kept K-State within striking distance here, Brendan, but they haven't been able to get over the hump.
You know, it's interesting. You and I were talking just before coming back that, you know, West Virginia, Javon Carter has 2 points. West Virginia hasn't played great, and yet they're up 7. And it just goes back to they are so difficult to play against. You have a veteran backcourt, not to mention their style, attacking the offensive glass, turning you over. Every second of every game, you are under duress, and it's taxing not only in short stretches, but also over the course of 40 minutes. Ultimately, they're trying to wear you down.
Well, Wade has played 27 minutes. Brown has played 27 and Stokes 28, and we have just under 11 minutes still to play in this game. So the minute total for the big three for K-State is very high. Here's Carter. Just flips it up, tipped though by Allen, and in for the freshman Teddy Allen.
Well, he'll do anything to go score, Allen. And Carter, although he gets the miss, you know, what he does turning the corner like that is he forces help to come over, leaving the weak side open for the offensive rebound.
You were talking earlier about the quick hands of Miles. He strips Wade there. Here's West giving it up. Allen, and a strong board that time for Snead. Snead taking it the other way, and then there's the hands of Miles again, who was able to save it on the sideline, but flipped it to Snead, and an open three off the mark from Wainwright, but a foul on the floor. They're going to call against Harris. And that's going to be his fourth.
Team foul number 6.
He is the first West Virginia player to 4 fouls. Stockard sitting on the bench right now with 4 for K-State.
You know, an opportunity right there for K-State with a 2-on-1. And you don't want to settle for that 3. You've got to drive it, force that lone defender to make a choice, either to stop you or sit back.
All 4 of Stokes' points have come from the lane, or from, I should say, from the line. Here's a Wade jumper. Over to West Virginia with 9:55 to go.
What I think is a really critical 2 to 4 minute stretch for K-State.
Teddy Allen going to take it right to the rim. He is not shy. 12 points for the freshman Teddy Allen to lead West Virginia in scoring.
Yeah, poor communication right there from K-State. You got to stop the ball high. And Wade kind of got caught sitting back on his heels.
Stokes, nice feed. Wade fouled as he was going up for the stuff.
Number 50 in the Mountaineers, his 4th foul.
Well, here's Allen. And you know, just through the scouting report, in the first 30 minutes of this game, with the ball's in his hands, what would he like to do? He wants to go to the rim. So poor communication. He had enough defenders back where you've got to talk. You've got to take the ball. You've got to protect the basket. And then from there, work inside out. But Allen straight to the cup and having another game where he's scoring a bunch of points in his minutes of play.
Officials talking amongst themselves, which draws the ire of the K-State fans here at Bramlage Coliseum. And I think they're just situating the foul there. But you mentioned Teddy Allen, 15 points for a team high in their win at Stillwater the other night. And now leading them with a dozen on 6 of 9 shooting from the field.
For K-State, number 32,
Well, going back before the Allen drive, I was going to make the point, really important stretch for K-State, because if West Virginia is able to extend this, obviously as you get down to the latter part of the second half, it's a West Virginia team that has a veteran backcourt and knows how to grind out games. It has a similar feel to their win in Stillwater on Friday, where they're able to keep Oklahoma State at arm's length down the stretch. And although Javon Carter and Daxter Miles didn't have their typical games, but their experience and decision-making down the stretch, you know, that's going to come into play.
Wade sinks both free throws, 53-46. West Virginia came into this game with 12 straight wins, their longest winning streak since the 2005-2006 season. If they get number 13 in a row here today, it would be their longest since the 1988-89 season. Allen driving off the left side. Wade pulls down the rebound. Stokes 0 for 7 from the field today, including fact that he's missed all 4 attempts from three-point range. Driving there and got tied up with the much bigger Bender. And Machi Bender, that foul will be his 4th.
That's Bender's 4th, but just like Bob Huggins' teams, depth in the backcourt certainly has, albeit young, he does have depth along the front line. Enough.
Stokes has hit all 4 of his free throw attempts today and misses the front end here. After the 18 foul against West Virginia, West off the left side of the rim. Bender able to get that with one hand. Going to shoot it again. A 3 this time. Drained by Lamont West. And suddenly it's a 10-point lead.
Well, you get the quick shot on the first West attempt, and then you give up the offensive rebound.
But guess who can answer for K-State as Snead drains his 5th 3. Timeout, K-State. (56-49) Mountaineers. Timeout.
Back in Manhattan, K-State staying within arm's length of West Virginia. And one of the things that Bob Huggins, as we know, preaches is offensive rebounding. There's Bender on the 3 miss from West, keeping the ball alive. And what that provides, Mark, is a broken floor for West to come back and knock down the shot. That put him up 10. But then back the other way for K-State. This is a huge shot. Xavier Snead, another wide open 3-point shot, his 5th of the day. And to me, that's crucial because that gets it back to 7 and stifles, at least momentarily, the momentum burst that West Virginia was trying to take.
Snead's 5 threes makes him right now the game-high scorer with 15 points. Coming up on the 8-minute mark here in Manhattan. Conference game number 2 in the Big 12. Allen. He does not play like a freshman, does he? He is aggressive.
He's got just enough size at 6'5". He's got a nice frame. So as a freshman, his body's ready for this level of play.
Here's Snead driving and is fouled. So all his points had come from 3-point range. Now he'll go to the strike after the 19th foul against West Virginia.
Well, I like the answer again. And prior to that, it was the 3 that we just showed you from Snead. And then this time after the bucket from Allen, it's Snead again with the face-up and strong drive from the left side.
His first trip to the line, and he's an excellent foul shooter, coming in at 86%, best on the K-State squad.
We talked about Bruce Weber. We asked him, what's Xavier got to continue to do? We mentioned shot selection earlier. The other thing is he needs to continue to learn in his young career, because he does shoot it well, get to the foul line.
Well, his free throws make it a 7-point game. West Virginia's largest lead has been 10. They've equaled that a couple of times. A whistle and away from the ball, a foul on Teddy Allen. So the 10th team foul against West Virginia. So no, from this point on, K-State's in the double bonus.
And we have a nice little matchup between Allen and Snead from the 4 position right now. Got a couple of guys going at it at both ends.
Brown called for the push on Miles. That was on Barry Brown.
Penalties called on K-State's number 5, Barry Brown. His second foul.
Second personal on Brown. Team foul number 5 of the half against K-State. West has the smaller Jar defending, shoots over him, and a little bit of contact, enough for the foul.
Number 2 of K-State, Mark Jar, is called for his second foul. Team foul number 6.
Watch this right here. Now Jara, with the size differential, he's really got him in great shape. I mean, he is 17 feet from the basket and well defended despite being smaller. There you just got to try to contest if you're Jarrah. There's no question that he hit West on the elbow.
About West, good foul shooter as well for West Virginia, 78% coming into this game. And he hits both his free throws, his first 2 of the day. Lead up to 9 once again for West Virginia. Another crucial possession for K-State. Brown takes a quick shot, and it was tipped perhaps by Harris into his own basket. Hard to tell there, but either way, it's a bucket for K-State, one they needed to make it a 60-53 game. West, off balance, is fouled.
What West Virginia is going to continue to do, obviously grind on you defensively, but on the offensive end, Bob Huggins is going to communicate with his team, work inside out. Everything right now flowing to the rim. He's got the offense right in front of him, so he can more easily talk to his ball club and get them to make correct choices.
Well, remember at the half, West Virginia had only attempted 1 free throw. Starting to change a little bit. Last couple of trips here for West, he hits 3 of a combined 4. But they still only attempted 6 free throws total, have the Mountaineers. Under 7 minutes to go. A 3 from Brown is an air ball that's going out of bounds. And
love Barry Brown, but there's a reason that Carter is backed off and going behind the ball screen. It's because he's a 27% three-point shooter. They're taking away his strength, which is he's at his best driving to the rim. And Barry Brown's just got to move on to the next thing.
Dexter Miles for Carter. Carter defended by Jarrah. Carter slices in the lane. He'll shoot 2. Foul on Cartier-Jarrah, his 4th. Well, for West Virginia, Teddy Allen and the Mount West have combined to score the last 14 points for West Virginia. Carter goes to the line looking to snap that team mark.
That's got to make you feel good, Marcus, because Allen a freshman, West a sophomore. But you also see this last possession, and this is what I was talking about earlier. You'll see Carter and Miles. This 9-point game as of right now. They're going to start using a little more clock, looking to drive, forcing the officials into making calls. This is what a Hall of Fame coach does. He knows how to grind out a game down the stretch. K-State needs some more stops and a couple of big offensive plays.
Wade got in the air, threw a low pass to Stokes, who's stumbling but now regains his dribble. 6 minutes to go. Wade all tied up underneath with Harris. More dribbling by Stokes, and then he has it knocked free, but that was Miles got him on the elbow. Third on Dexter Miles, and it's going to be 2 shots here. They're the double bonus nonetheless.
No question there was a foul, and Stokes gets bailed out by Miles. The march against West Virginia in the half court, because they're so good, you have to move the basketball. K-State has not been able to, off the initial offense, set any screens and get a guy free off a ball screen or off dribble penetration. Stokes had a hard time there. A lot of game left. You don't have to get all back at once.
Bruce Weber, you'll see in our 2-box there, the head coach of K-State, been very vocal. That's a long three. How about Lamont West? 19 points to lead all scores.
How about the confidence just to step up and take the shot?
Here's a drive. Stokes got tied up. There's the defense at Carter, and I think that looked like a good call from the baseline official, Jerry Pollard.
Yeah, and I know, obviously, the home crowd doesn't like it, but Javon Carter's great at this. And see what you have, he's retreating, and it's Stokes taking it to Carter. I don't think there's any question that's a jump ball. And Carter continues to give ground as Stokes continues to try to get to the rim and initiate the contact. Carter never gave in. And again, you see the strong hands and physical nature from Javon Carter.
Well, the fans are reacting to the replay on the scoreboard, but what we showed you on TV was a better angle. That was a clean tie-up, so to speak, for Carter. Play stop with 5:15 remaining. Jerry Pollard, our lead official. And this crowd right now irritated as their team once again down 10. There's some blood there on Stokes, and the fans seeing that, and that's some blood running down the face. They wanted something called against West Virginia. As they clean up Stokes, Bruce Weber getting an explanation from Jerry Pollard. From the West Virginia viewpoint, you have West with 19, Allen off the bench with 14, Bolden off the bench with 10. Those have been their primary three scores. Let's take another look here. Was there a scrape? Yeah, you know what? He did scrape him across the face on the way down to tie up that ball.
He did. So I digress. But the point is still the same. You cannot show the ball to Javon Carter. You have to protect it and keep it away from him.
Carter jump stop in the lane, loses it. Wade on the floor with Carter. And a foul is called on West Virginia. And Javon Carter. More Big 12 hoops ahead. Texas and Iowa State from Hilton Coliseum coming up. Kevin Connors and Tim Welsh standing by for that. We still have 5:01 to go in a 10-point game, and Wade going to the line shooting 2 for K-State.
Mark, K-State hanging tough. You know, it's easy to say. I think basketball's simple. They've got to get stops. First and foremost, they've got to hang their hat, Kansas State, this last 5 minutes on getting series of stops, one and dones, keeping West Virginia off the glass.
Allen traveled. 15 turnovers committed by West Virginia. Turnovers have been about even as 14 committed by K-State. Allen to the bench. Bolden has come in for West Virginia. But another crucial offensive possession here for K-State. Down 8. Stokes. Taken away by Carter. That one tied up. Possession arrow keeping it with K-State, but once again the hands of Carter.
It's unbelievable.
See, Stokes gave him a little smile there. Hey, you didn't slap me across the face and open up a cut on that one. Brown thought better against the three. Then a little bit of a late whistle, but there was definitely some contact there from Harris. And some derisive applause from the K-State fans. So Harris fouls out. 3 points, went 1 for 3 from the field, 4 rebounds in his 30 minutes. Second time he's fouled out of the game this year.
Oh, what a game. Talented young man. You could see that last year as a freshman. They think more opportunities to play in this tough league, that he'll continue to get better and better. I think you're going to see him be really good in February.
Brown short with the first free throw. He's played 30 minutes in this game. Averages a team high 32 minutes per game. 4.5 minutes to go. He splits the pair, 65-58.
And again, K-State about stops. I like that Brown looked to drive it, get him to the line last possession. That's how you're going to have to work your way back in.
Miles finds Bolden. West kept it alive over Wade and then threw it away, though, to Patrick. Stokes finds an open Sneed. Well, Sneed hits his 6th 3 of the game. We got a 4-point contest, Brendan.
Well, Mark, how many times has Xavier Sneed hit an answer bucket to keep K-State in it? We got a great one here in Manhattan.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball.
6th-ranked West Virginia's lead down to 4, 3:45 to go. A lot of basketball still to play, but we want to award our player of the game, brought to you by Phillips 66. It's Xavier Sneed, who's hit a career-high 6 threes.
Well, he has made big shot after big shot, and his teammates have done a nice job of finding him. And here's Stokes. Knows he has the hot hand. There's the big 3 in the corner. And it's felt like every time West Virginia has tried to extend the lead or get on some kind of run, it's number 20 right there in the headband that has stepped up and made a huge play. And it's been really impressive and a gutty performance, not only by him, but K-State. Continue to fight and claw their way back in.
Freshman Teddy Allen at the line, drains the first free throw. "17 points for Teddy Allen. Looking for Wade. Wade from in tight. 16 points for Wade, coming off a career-high 34 at Iowa State. You and I thought, Brendan, coming in, if he could hit 20 against West Virginia, that would be an impressive total.
And I love the coaching out of the timeout. Obviously, K-State's first possession go right to Wade inside, and they get an easy one.
Patrick called for the push. His second personal foul. It's team foul number 10, so West Virginia now in the double bonus.
And once again, here's that first offensive possession of the timeout. Look at Wade seal West right there. And right now, Kanate coming back in, but prior to that, Mark, West Virginia basically playing small. And so that's obviously an advantage or an opportunity for Wade in the interior.
Kanate coming in with his 4 fouls. It's Allen back at the line. You mentioned Wade. He has a double-double, 16 points, 10 rebounds. The advantage is 6 for West Virginia. Three minutes to play. Stokes can't buy a shot from the field today. 0 for 8 and 0 for 5 in three-point shooting.
Yeah, just a tough day today for Cam Stokes, because that is a really good look for him as he's shooting 45% from 3 coming in here.
Teddy Allen fouled as he went up with that shot. Texas and Iowa State getting underway at Hilton Coliseum in Ames. We will join them in progress once we're finished here in Manhattan. But if you want to see the beginning of that game, hop on to ESPN3 or the ESPN app. Kevin Connors and Tim Welsh with the call of Texas and Iowa State just getting started in Ames.
Kingston substitution number 2, Cartier Chara.
I tell you what, if you were guarding Teddy Allen and it was Patrick that possession, and he catches the ball, you've got to immediately think first, protect drive, because he's going to catch without hesitation and turn and start heading toward the rim. You cannot relax.
Allen had a team-high 15 points in the win a few nights ago in Stillwater. He has 20 points in this one. Here's Wade stumbling, lost it out of bounds. And it's West Virginia ball. Well, it's the first Super Tuesday of the college hoops season on ESPN. 18th ranked Texas Tech taking on number 10 Kansas at Allen Fieldhouse tomorrow. You can also see the game live on the ESPN app. Stolen. Wade. No shot. Foul on the floor. Do not count the basket.
Number 3, James Holden, the second.
Well, this is great full court pressure. Look at the quickness of Brown. And Brown last year, speaking of guys that are terrific defenders, 82 steals, which was a single season record here at Kansas State. And what tremendous anticipation, and quickly gets it to Wade. That's a big defensive play.
One and two for Wade from the line. 71-64, 2:18 to go. West runs the baseline into Carter. Wade trying to reach around to steal that, and then almost a carry by Carter. West, 3. Long rebound to Stokes. He's on the run. Has Snead lining up on the left side. Here's Brown in the half court. The drive. Wainwright off balance. No call. Carter up ahead. Teddy Allen, 1 point shy of a career high. He has 22.
Boy, Wainwright, I know it's tough to do when you go into traffic, but you just got to take it straight to the rim and not shy away from the contact or the contesting of the shot.
Tough day for Stokes continues. Allen has now scored 8 straight for West Virginia. He's taken over again.
Well, that's a big exchange because Brown, I love the decision to drive it, and then Wainwright double clutches, and then Allen immediately comes down and scores. Big exchange right there.
Carter eating some clock, down to 5 on the shot clock. A spin along the baseline, short. Brown comes out with it, taking it directly to the rim to lay it in. 1 minute to play. The lead is 7 for West Virginia. Wainwright commits the foul on Miles to stop it with 59 seconds to go.
Yeah, and I was waiting to see what Bruce Weber's decision would be. And with a 7-point differential, a minute left, he elects to foul immediately and try to stretch out the game.
Shooting 2 for the Mountaineers, number 4.
2 shots for Daxter Miles. His first trip to the line tonight, a 69% foul shooter on the year. Coming up after the All-State Sugar Bowl tonight, join Scott Van Pelt for SportsCenter on ESPN. He'll have comprehensive post-game coverage of both college football playoff games and more. All that and everything else on SportsCenter with SVP, 12:30 a.m. Eastern, 9:30 Pacific, after Bama Clemson on ESPN and also on the app. Miles drains both. Lead is 9.
You got to make quick work here. You got to look to drive it.
Stokes picked up the dribble, looking for some help. Back to Brown.
Taking too long.
Eating up more time than Brown. A 3. Back rim miss. Rebound Carter. Outlet. Here comes Daxter Miles. Miles just lays it up, and that may be the dagger to make it a double-digit lead. 30 seconds to go. 11-point lead, their largest of the game. Brown with the three. .25 seconds to go.
Yeah, Mark, this is exactly the formula. This is what West Virginia does. I mean, they bring it all game. It's so hard to play against. And they just grind you.
Miles, a lot of contact, stolen. Stokes puts it up. An 0 for 10 shooting game. He's missed 7 3-point shots. And West Virginia going to start out 2-0 in conference play, win their 13th in a row, their longest winning streak since the 1988-89 season, as they take it 77-69.
2-0 start, both on the road, as you mentioned, Marcus, and that is a great start for West Virginia. But remember, this is an 18-game grind in the league. For K-State, you got to put it behind you and get ready to play next game.
Texas, Iowa State coming up next. Once again, our final score is 77-69. West Virginia beats K-State. For Brendan Manzer and our entire crew, I'm Mark Neely. Thanks for sharing this with us. Happy New Year from Manhattan.